How to overcome mistakes you've made in the past, especially ones you haven't forgiven yourself for. Stay tuned. Damon here with NLP Gem. NLP Presuppositions, the power of positive intention. If you haven't already, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. NLP Presuppositions. That could actually be two different topics there, and one I will cover in a future video, and that would be using presuppositions for persuasion and influence. Something that comes directly from the Milton model. That was one of the early models from NLP that was modeled after Milton Erickson. But that's not what I'm going to go into in this video. This video is going to be more about the presuppositions that are laid out as sort of like mindsets for NLP, or approaches or filters to place over your thinking. Now, just to go through something real quick here, some people will say that presuppositions are actually beliefs, and I disagree with that. I've heard that from people who are in NLP, and I've heard that from people who have not taken NLP trainings, that they think that there is some sort of commandments, beliefs that you must have, or dogma. And that comes from this idea that NLP is like a cult or religion. Not true. There is nothing cultish or religion-like about NLP, and the presuppositions are definitely not commandments or even beliefs. The presuppositions are more like mindsets. They're more like filters to place over your thinking. And what I mean by that, because some people might not like that word, we have many filters. Our five senses are filters, because there's probably more to reality. Well, I know there's more to reality that we can't sense, just like there's lights, there's colors on the spectrum that we can't see, but we know exist. There are sounds that are sounded on a certain level that we can't even hear, like say like a dog whistle. So there are things out there that we can't even take in through our five senses. So there's more to reality than what we can actually perceive. So in that sense, our five senses are actually filters. Our thinking is composed of many filters, and our mindsets and our beliefs especially are major filters on the information we're taking in. So presuppositions are not something you have to believe. It's more like something you think of as if. What if things were like this? What would it be like as if you thought this way, or this was true? So again, it doesn't mean that it is true. It's something to hold, and hold it lightly. So the presupposition in this one is all behavior originates from a positive intent. Take a moment for that to sink in. This took me a while, and when I'm teaching this, I get a lot of pushback, because people start thinking about all the horrible acts that humans have committed and continue to commit. And it's hard for somebody to connect with that and say, oh yes, that person, that came from some sort of positive intent. And when you think about these really horrible acts, you'd be surprised if and they've done this with people, they've worked with people who, serial killers or what have you, and if they dig really deep, a lot of times these bizarre, violent acts have something to do with trying to connect with people, trying to love or feel that sense of connection. It just gets really warped on its way out to becoming a behavior. Imagine though, if you looked at all the behavior that you've seen around you, and instead of judging it, it's easy to judge, but judgment puts distance between you and the person you're judging. It says more about the judger than it does about the judged, and it disconnects us. So when we look at people, or we look at behavior we don't agree with, or we don't like, or we even find repulsive, imagine if you looked at that and thought to yourself, well, deep down you know that originates from a positive intent. How would that change your behavior? How would that change your communication? How would that change the way that you interact with people? I don't want to tell you what your experience will be like, but try this out. Try taking a specific example of someone you're having a disagreement with, or a dispute, and think to yourself, doesn't matter that you disagree, there is behind it a positive intent. What this has done for me has made me a much more sympathetic person, much more empathetic, much less likely to judge people. And in that sense, I feel like I've become more human. And do this for yourself. Stop judging yourself or your mistakes or your bad behavior, and instead look at it as there was a positive intent somewhere that started there, and go back and find it. That's an amazing thing. That's an amazing experience to have, to not judge yourself anymore, and you will heal, you will forgive yourself, and you'll move on, and you'll learn from it rather than holding it down and not dealing with it and not addressing it. This has been an amazing and eye-opening process for me. And what this presupposition does, it just opens you up to more, it opens your mind, it opens you up to more possibilities, more opportunities. It gives you more choice. And when it comes to thinking about behavior that really repulses you, like something violent, a lot of us don't want to go there, because then we have to connect to our humanity on a level that means that we have to sort of own the fact that we're part of the same species, and that in that sense, we have to connect with what humanity or humans are capable of. And that's not an easy thing to do. So go lightly on yourself. You don't have to jump into the deep end right away. Just do this for yourself, and do this for people you're having minor disagreements with. And just think to yourself, presuppose that there's a positive intent behind this person's disagreeing with you. And it's amazing how that can even sometimes resolve disputes when you can understand where that person is coming from. So give this a try, and I think you'll find that it is quite an amazing thing to do. And just think about how that will affect your communication. When you're looking for the positive in people, they feel it, and it changes the way that you communicate. And that's what NLP is all about. NLP is not about trying to find a problem to solve. It's about capitalizing and building on what's right with people, what is working with people, what is positive about people and about yourself. And you start there. And then if you have to solve a problem or approach a problem, then by all means do that. But imagine if you're coming from that positive and open-minded place, and approaching a problem from that, rather than coming from a judgmental place or a place of not understanding and not wanting to understand. So give that a try. I'd love to hear how that goes for you. Feel free to drop me a comment or ask me any questions. Check out our website, nlp-gym.com. Follow us on Facebook so you can get real-time updates on free practice sessions and workshops that we have coming up, like Core Transformation. We're a little bit more than 2 weeks away from that one. That one's going to be taught by Mark Andreas, son of Stephen Connie Ray Andreas. And again, Core Transformation, it's all about taking the positive and capitalizing on that and building on that, and also taking the obstacles in your way, or the perceived obstacles, and using that as a doorway, as a gateway, rather than separating yourself from it. At the end of this video, you'll see a way that you can get a free access to an online training right on our website, nlp-gym.com. Stay tuned for more videos and for more workshops that are coming up. And I hope to see you soon at one of those workshops. Take care.